Yo, what's up, fam? How's it going? Welcome to Magic Hour. All right, so we're doing this for the first time, so let's see how this goes. But Jack, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. First time, very excited. A little nervous, not gonna lie.
Nervous,
It's not
dude.
really,
I saw some knee shaking.
dude, not really my normal thing, but I'm really excited to do this for the first time. Sure, we've got to say, but usually Joshin is our public face for the company. He's got a really good face as well as my mom would say.
Shame about everything else. Though.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to talk more with the community, share more stuff, and yeah, this is a really cool initiative that we're trying. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, we're gonna give this a go, but maybe I'll kick off with a quick intro because I think number one, we've done a bunch of spaces. Jack has been on a world tour of spaces the last couple of weeks. Some of you might have heard our voices but not seen us, so let's just do a quick intro. And then two of us here today. We have four co-founders. We'll get the other guys to come on at some point. Rex and Sid, you can't hide my guys. Okay, so I'm Z, one of the co-founders. Before Magic Eden, I was at Coinbase and DYDX. I feel like I've done a tour of duty around all kinds of things in crypto. Was lucky to have been in the early days of DeFi back in late 2017, 2018. Saw some insane stuff back then when it was just, I don't know, like 15, 20 people building in San Francisco on random esoteric DeFi protocols, actually before it was even called DeFi. And then spent some time on Coinbase's institutional trading team back in 2020 and 2021 before Magic Eden, and then got roped in to do this thing when this guy gave me a call. Before we jump in, I just do want to give a quick disclaimer. Nothing we say here is obviously, it's definitely not financial advice or investment advice. We're here to just update you guys on Magic Eden, have a bit of banter, have a bit of fun. And magiceden.io is not for US residents. So US folks use magiceden.us. All right, Jack.
Awesome.
Maybe give a quick intro.
Yeah, I'm happy to as well. Okay, I'm Jack, also one of the four co-founders of Magic Eden. Been a crypto lover for a really long time. Actually, our other co-founder, Sid, our CTO, Sid and I actually knew each other when we were in high school. So knew each other when we were 15, 16, growing up in Australia. He started a Bitcoin company in 2014 and wanted me to join. And that's when I learned about Bitcoin, all of that. Ultimately, I didn't end up joining his company, but kind of just started falling down the rabbit hole. Just like dabbling, buying coins, buying like 2017 ICOs, doing all that kind of stuff. And it's funny because Josh and I were friends in the Bay Area later on. And as I was buying coins, I always wanted to basically find a job in crypto. And I was like, hey, like, how do I, get into crypto full time? And Joshua would kind of be my effectively career advisor, and also just spiritual therapist.
I actually have a funny thing to say about this. Because I did a podcast with Harsh and this other guy who I knew back then. He's now working at Mezzo, Thesis, the Bitcoin company. And we were joking that back then in 2017, it was really hard to find a job if you wanted to work in crypto.
Yeah.
And all you could do was go have coffee with random dudes in SF.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you could get into the industry, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we were those two random dudes having coffee.
Yeah, that's right. It was actually hilarious because Josh and I's background are very similar because we're both Aussies. Did a stint in consulting, that kind of that kind of industry, and then moved to moved to the Bay Area, and we had a bunch of mutual friends. So conceptually, you and I should have a lot of common things to talk about. But the only thing we actually talked about was crypto, to the exclusion of anything else. So anyway, it just goes to show crypto is a religion, right? Okay, fast forward a bunch. It's really hilarious. I think my crypto journey ultimately is actually a lot of it is related to friends, right? It wasn't really like an intellectual journey. It was more like a relationship journey. So Sid, high school friend, showed me Bitcoin for the first time. Joshin, another friend, talking to me about opportunities in crypto generally, and then another high school friend of mine from Australia ended up being a very early employee of Solana. He was probably first 10 employees. So he was telling me about Sol in 2019, and that's when I started watching it, right, and looking at it. And then 2021 came around, when NFTs came around. I thought, you know what? NFTs is really big on ETH. Sol is a really fast chain. maybe there's something here. And at that time, I was doing like consumer internet, consumer tech kind of stuff in big tech. And I thought, hey, this could be a really cool consumer use case. So that's kind of how we started.
3 years later.
Yeah, 3 years later. It's
been a long 3 years.
It's been a long 3 years. It's been a good 3 years. It was our 3-year birthday last month, and it was deserving a lot of reflection. A lot of ups and downs, but ultimately 2024 has been a really good year for us.
Year of the Dragon, am I right?
Year of the Dragon has been really good for us. But just like a lot of learnings along the way. But yeah, for 3 years in crypto, it feels like 3 decades. So yeah, a lot to talk about.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of play moderator, facilitator a bit.
Sure.
Today.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, let's give it a crack. Like, I might not be the right guy for this going forward. We'll see. And then you're going to have some questions on the side.
Yeah.
So if people have questions, just throw them in. We'll try and if we see some good ones, we'll just like work them in. We'll bundle some, get them answered. So please just drop them in. So maybe I think So this was actually your idea, and it was a good one. But maybe share a little bit about why you wanted to do this.
To do
like
Magic
this,
Hour.
like this kind of forum. Like we're already doing spaces. We have a bunch of other things going on. Why do this kind of Magic Hour type thing?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Okay, so why are we doing this, right? Why are we doing Magic Hour? Okay, so it rose from a couple of things, and by the way, I've got my laptop here and I'm monitoring the chat on YouTube and Twitter. So if folks have questions or reactions, feel free to jump in, and I'm going to find an opportunity to address them. So basically, it arose from two thoughts. One is more like a bird's eye view of just Magic Eden, and the other one is some learnings that came about as I was doing spaces over the last few weeks. So the macro thought is this, which is, like Magic Eden, I would say that we had like a phase 1 and a phase 2. So, and we're in the middle of going to phase 2. Phase 1 is, Magic Eden was predominantly a product company, right? So we're like in the lab building stuff, and our relationship with our users is basically like platform and user, right? And it's a very, in some ways, like a fairly vanilla, almost like Web 2 kind of mental model. And and that's one of the strongest pieces of, like, I would say, negative feedback or constructive feedback that we receive as Magic Eden is that, hey, we don't expose to the community like our plans, what we're trying to do, and the two-way dialogue, that two-way relationship is not really there, which is very fair, right? Now, phase 2, I think, is in here, which is, of course, we're going to be adopting ME token, and that fundamentally changes the game, right? And it's a good change. It's actually a really good change. And I think it's a good change for us, it's a good change for the community, and it's going to benefit everyone. But the realization I had was that obviously once we adopt the token, the relationship is not user platform, it's just Magic Eden and community, we are the same. Actually, we are the same. And all of our goals are actually the same, right? Our goals are actually the same. And how do we create that relationship so everyone feels like we are the same? And what that truly means is that the community, they become users, they become holders of ME, but they should also become emotionally invested in the things that we're trying to do. So what I wanted actually to come out, and what I realized was, whatever we're saying inside the company, that's actually what we should be saying outside of the company as well. So inside and outside, there's integrity, it's aligned. And also we need to have this like two-way dialogue with the community. So when they have feedback or when they want to seek clarification, we have those channels. So then all those two things aside, why Magic Hour? I was doing spaces. I love doing spaces. I actually learned a ton from the community doing the space. But I realized spaces were somewhat ad hoc. It was opportunistic, right? And I'm still going to do spaces. We're still going to do a lot of spaces. But Magic Hour, I think, is a more, like, I would say, formal forum where we can help the audience and help the community peek behind the hood of what we're doing at Magic Eden in a more nuanced and deep way. And of course, we're going to have chat, live stream, these kind of things, so that we can also hear feedback, open up that two-way dialogue. So that's the thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was thinking then, given that, there's actually a lot we could talk about today. Mm-hmm. We also teased that we're going to talk about TestME, so we have to also get to TestME at some point.
Yeah.
So we will get there. But I think maybe we should start with like, one big post you made earlier in the week, you outlined this whole thing about the magic principles. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to just talk about that real quick. Mm-hmm. We should talk a little bit about, I wouldn't mind even just like having a bit of a chit chat about, just so much shit happening in the market.
Sure.
right now. Like,
yeah, what's not happening in the market?
yeah, like I want to get your
Sure.
take on some of the things happening on some of the ecosystems.
Sure.
If we can share a little bit about what we're working on in some of those ecosystems too.
Yep.
Yeah, so we can talk about that, and then ME and TestME. So we can maybe talk about that at the end.
Sounds good.
Sound good?
Cool.
So why don't we start with Magic? Like the principles, why did you write them? Maybe unpack it a bit, because you can only write so much and get through so much in a Twitter thread. But maybe unpack the different elements of that.
Yeah. No, it's a really good question. So I think the starting point of Magic principles is the point I was making before, which is inside and outside, it should be the same at Magic Eden. So how we think and how we discuss things on the inside is how we should externalize our reasoning for why we do certain things on the outside. That's exactly what it is. And on the inside, when we think about product strategy, how do we grow, why does Magic Eden exist, there's a set of principles or heuristics that we developed. And Magic is basically our external way of communicating those things, right? And ultimately, why did I think it was important to write that and share that with the community is this. As I was doing the spaces, I realized people ask me, hey Jack, why is the diamonds algorithm this certain way, right? Why are you not building pro trading, right? Or why are you not, how do you think about Magic Eden's role or investment in one specific ecosystem versus another, right? Those kind of questions came up. And I'm very happy. Those were very valid, amazing questions. I was very grateful for the opportunity to share our perspective. But I also realized I was just sharing those things in a very ad hoc, reactive way. Like someone will give me a question on a space, I'll share that. What I actually wanted to share is, here is Magic Eden's holistic system of thought on how we grow and what is our role and how we can help the ecosystem, right? And then why do we share this holistic system of thought? Ultimately, it's in service of making sure people believe in what we're doing. Of course, when we adopt ME, some people will be long-term believers and some people are short-term believers. That's actually totally fine. Everyone is welcome. But what we want to ultimately say is that, hey, we want to ultimately help people become long-term believers, and people can only become long-term believers if you know who we are at Magic Eden, how we think, and what we are actually trying to do. So that's the underlying spirit. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to talk about the specific things about MAGIC, all of that, but that's the fundamental reason.
All right, come on, be real. Did you start with the stupid little silly acronym?
I did not start with the acronym, but I did not.
There's a little bit of force fit.
Yeah, I did not, but we I thought it was for the better that after a few versions we got to some of the really crystal principles that we could rearrange things to get to Magic. It was really funny because all chains, all assets was number one, because I think most people would understand Magic Eden as this multi-chain, like a true multi-chain dApp, right? One of the truest multi-chain dApps. And I wanted to start with that, but Amgic, that just doesn't sound as good as Magic, right? So if it's an easy way to rearrange it to make Magic, well, we're gonna make that. We're gonna make that.
All right. So the first one, make crypto easier for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that really about? Because I think a lot of people talk about simplicity, abstraction of complexity, the shit we always hear about.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what this really is about is. Tactically, it's very simple, which is Magic Eden, we want to build simple products, simple UI, and we want to serve use cases for the masses. So, very esoteric DeFi thing might not be for us, but minting, NFT trading, spot token trading, these kind of things where it appeals to millions, hundreds of millions of users, those are things for us. And the way that we want to execute that is through simplicity and delight, right? That is something we deeply believe in. That's I think, the tactical answer. I think why do we actually deeply believe in that? And I would even recognize, I would invite you to comment, Josh. It's it's fucking hard to believe in that sometimes because the market pulls you in another way. But why do I actually believe in that is, I've been following crypto. I love crypto, and I've been following crypto for so long, right? And the technology has fundamental transformational properties, but we've been talking about how to onboard 100 million users into crypto, 1 billion users for crypto for the last 10 years. It's the same narrative. But if you think deeply about why it hasn't happened, I actually think complexity is the reason. So many fucking chains, every chain, every week, every month, a new chain. So many different dApps. The dApps actually basically do the same thing. So many different wallets basically all do the same thing. And that's in the on-chain space. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to trivialize, the builders who are working on those things. It's actually fine. Everyone should pick their own path and pick their own destiny. It's fine for people to do that. But we as an industry, zooming out, looking at it, it's no wonder that it's hard for the average, every person, the every man on the street to come into our space when there is so much complexity and fragmentation. That is in the on-chain space where Magic Eden plays. And then, if I play this out, if I love thinking about crypto history, right? Like who made it work, which projects the founders, companies made it work. If I think about the centralized exchange space, actually the people who probably had the biggest impact in onboarding new people, building trust, they are the companies that made things simple, right? Coinbase, Binance, they made the experience of depositing a fiat, trading something, discovering something really, really simple. And they built trust around that. And I think we as an on-chain industry, we can learn a lot, right? We can learn a lot. And of course, like crypto cycles, in bear cycles, it's hard to believe that you want to build products for retail because there's no retail. It's like you don't feel that it's really going to work. But I think if we zoom out and think long-term and think more macro, there's a lot of truth in trying to strive for that vision.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
No, it resonates a lot. The other one example I'll give, it's almost like a slightly different interpretation of this, but I think it hits at the same point, is that we also don't want to shy away tackling like a very hard problem in crypto. There's many of these to solve, but I'll just give one example, which is like, do you remember when we first started looking at ordinals?
Oh yeah.
And it was like, dude, we didn't even know if this shit was possible to build a marketplace because there was no smart contract. It wasn't like a smart contract platform for obvious reasons. And we ended up building it. Took a bit of work from Rex, some hard yards. And then we ended up building the Rune stuff, fungibles trading on Bitcoin. And then now there's like a lot of work being put into sort of the layer below to make trading a lot more robust and simple and fast. How do you build a lot of stuff native to Bitcoin L1 to make it very, very usable, right? And that is also us trying to simplify the experience. And I'll give you guys one example where if you tried buying something on ordinals or runes even today, and then where we're going with that is that, one-click purchase on mobile, right? So all this stuff that happens behind the scenes on Bitcoin L1, hopefully you don't have to think about it at all, right? That's coming. That's an example of something I think where we're trying to make things like orders of magnitude easier.
Yeah, also?
Yeah. All right, we don't have to go through every single one. Which ones do you want to unpack? Which one, like, out of these? So all chains, all assets, I think is very...
Pretty straightforward.
Well understood, right? Everyone gets that. But I think I'll just make one point on that, which is, man, long tail assets, that's where everything's going. By far. I think we kind of knew that, like, everyone had some thesis about like lots and lots of tokens for everything. But I think we're really starting to see it now in a really, really big way. And there's almost this like dissonance between the current market structure in crypto, where so much of the discovery and all of the action sort of hinges historically around centralized exchanges. And I think that's actually going to change quite significantly as more and more long tail assets get created, and they proliferate at a much faster rate. And I think that's why all chains, all assets is very meaningful for us, because we see it live, right? We add a chain, a bunch of stuff gets created on the NFT side, on the token side, and then all of that just starts trading very organically, all on chain. And it takes weeks, months, sometimes not at all before that gets supported on a centralized exchange. And we're just going to see that happen more and more and more. So that's why we think all chains, all assets, very, very important.
Yep. I'll just tick through like maybe since we're here, like I'll just tick through the last three, but real quick. Like we're the space. What does that really mean? It means that like Magic Eden, I actually just think that crypto has a lot of potential, but today the space is really small still. So actually our company's vision statements ultimately make digital ownership universal. Universal means like billions of users, right? And what we really want to do is, use our strategies to and our mission is to grow and to onboard more people into the space. And then the way that we want to use and adopt the token of $ME is also in service of that, right? It's an incentive layer. It's a layer for us to grow. And this is very much related to the second one of like in it for the long term. The point I'm trying to make here, and I wrote this in the essay, which is Magic Eden, for us, we are in it for the long term, and I hope that the community can see from our actions that, hey, these guys are serious builders. They're here to innovate, push the frontiers, make things more simple, onboard more users into space. And we also wanted to share some examples of our belief and conviction of being in it for the long term. So for example, founders of ME, we are locked up longer than everyone, right? For $ME, which is, we're locked up for at least 18 months, right? And at the same time, our belief is also that for long-term believers in ME, so this will be like ME stakers in the future, if they're long-term believers, they will also receive disproportionate rewards. So we want to reach that like philosophical alignment both inside and outside. But in service, why that's related to the previous point of grow the space is similar, which is, I think that when the token claim product goes live, it's going to be a day of happiness. It's going to really reward a ton of like early supporters who have been continuously loyal to Magic Eden. But the core of the point is, hey, we should all believe that as long as we grow the space, the mission of we grow the space and Magic Eden keeps growing, that's actually going to be better for all of us. And there could be some like short-term thoughts around, man, like, I wish I had a bit more allocation, or like, man, I wish I had some more diamonds, like these kind of things. But what we want to do is encourage people through our own role model, starting with us, the founders of Magic Eden, role modeling us first that, hey, we're in it for the long term. We want to grow, and over time, as long as we reach that vision of growing the space, it's actually going to be better for everyone. So I wanted to use those 2 points to communicate that message. Last thing, community transparency. I think that goes to, like even why we're doing Magic Hour, why we're doing Spaces, the recognition that the company is transitioned from phase 1 to phase 2. We're going to do more of this stuff where community has a chance to share their feedback, listen, but also put a face to the name and understand what we're really trying to do on the inside. So those are the couple of thoughts on the principles themselves.
Sick. Okay, I want to keep this ticking.
Yeah.
So.
Sure.
Before we, there's a bunch of just like funny like ecosystem stuff I want to talk about. But before we do that, I actually just want to, because we've talked about this internally a lot in the last 6 months, what does the future of Magic Eden actually look like? And I don't mean that in like some, esoteric way, like something very...
VC PowerPoint deck way?
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's fine.
We love that.
But more like as a user, like, today, okay, you go on Magic Eden, you're like, you see the chains, you see all the NFTs, you go on mobile, you see how like you can swap from Bitcoin to Sol to Bitcoin, blah, 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 all of that. But like, what does it mean for us when we say we're going to build a bunch of things, all chains, all assets, long term? Yeah. How does this actually look like? What can you paint that a little bit for our users, and then so we can just have them visualize it?
No, absolutely. Look, I think the easiest way to describe it is decentralized Binance or decentralized Coinbase. And if you think about Binance and Coinbase, those are basically apps that allows you to trade multiple categories of crypto, right? You can trade spot, futures, NFTs, yada, 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 earn yield, but they are fundamentally custodial solutions and they're limited by like the range of assets that's available. What Magic Eden is going to be in the future is, like a version of that with really nice, simple, user-friendly UI, but it allows you to trade all chains, all assets, whether it's NFTs across all chains, tokens across all chains, and in the future we have some really cool ideas to expand into new categories as well, beyond just spot tokens. To me, that is decentralized Binance, decentralized Coinbase, and it's maximum range, right? You don't have to let me go search on Google or search on X, which DEX should I be using to trade like the hottest thing now on Sui or Ton. It should all be in one place giving you the familiarity and convenience that you know. And of course, the more that you trade on it, the more that you engage with that platform, we will also record your activity and history and provide more rewards, right, for that kind of engagement. So to me, that is actually the way that we can offer maximum convenience and ease to the crypto ecosystem. And of course, as more people, more casual users onboard into the space, my belief is that that's the actual kind of easy, convenient platform that people are actually looking for. Right?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
It's good shit.
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Okay, so dude, should we just chat a little bit about like what's happening in the market right now?
Yeah, sounds good.
Man, what's your, all right, AI coins. Are you in? Are you in? Are you
I'm
out?
definitely in. I mean, I'm a terrible, terrible trader. That's why I'm grinding still, despite being in crypto for so long. Just kind of salty as I'm even talking about this. But yeah, I bought it, man. I bought it and go at like a few hundred M market cap. But yeah, it's fucking interesting. It's insane. I think that people have been talking about this for a while, right? People have been talking about.
There was a great tweet from Jacob from Zora. Did you see that?
Referring to the Fred.
What Fred was saying in 2017. That was insane.
Yes, it's such a good meta lesson in the sense of it happens every time in crypto, right? Like there's an idea and everyone's like, nah, no fucking way. And then the idea happens, it's like, dude, this is so dumb, it's a toy. And then a few years later, it just becomes massive. Yeah. I just feel like that's the story of every like major crypto meta. And I mean, it's huge. I mean, inside the company, what's good is that like Rex actually worked on PyTorch at Facebook, so he was like a big AI nerd. And then Sid used to work at Uber's self-driving division, so like really into AI. So we're like looking into this like pretty deeply, seeing how how we can apply this, but also just monitoring market. It's just fucking fascinating.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
I think it's hilarious that like AI. It's like people have fear that they're going to become our overlords.
Yeah.
And it's kind of happening in like a funny tokens way, because it's like, which coin are they going to announce as the right CA?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, please the right one. Okay, but I want to talk about NFTs a little bit, because I think that's very near and dear.
Yep.
So, man, we made it. Okay, I'll share one thing. We started the year with the goal to become the #1 NFT marketplace. Mm-hmm. And we did that, which is great. But the job's not done.
Check.
Job's not done.
Put the.
We have some.
We'll have some visuals to guide this.
Job's not done, but what's your take on kind of like what are you excited about? Like when we talk about NFTs that are happening on all the different chains that we support. Yeah. And we can go in any direction here, because there's obviously a lot of stuff happening on Bitcoin. Yep. Near and dear to me. Yep. We just added Ape Chain. Yep. For other reasons, that's exciting. Yep. We're doing a lot of EVM chain expansion. Yep. Sol, a lot of standards being created. Yep. Yeah. What are you seeing? What are you liking?
Okay. Yeah, it's a really good question. So I think that number one, 3 years ago when we were just first starting on Sol, and Sol was also like the contrarian chain at that time. There's no way that we would have imagined we are where we are today. And it's kind of funny, like today we're #1 by users, #1 by revenue, and I don't know, even I feel like we're fully invested in NFTs and we want to continue to be the #1, and we have like a really crack team working on it. But we also want to do like the next thing now, right? Like be decentralized Binance, decentralized Coinbase. I guess that's just kind of no rest for the wicked. But in terms of your question about like what I'm excited about, I think there's two things. One is now and one is the future. The now is I actually think our strategy of being multi-chain, having maximum range is really playing out, right? And in the bear market when we first started this, and admittedly we were not very good at executing it, people were not hot on the idea, right? They were not hot on us doing multi-chain. But after like 18 months of hard grinding, learning a lot of lessons, I think now like we know how to make this thing work. And the now that I'm excited about is just stepping on the fucking gas and really like going hard on the strategy and maximizing the value and headroom that we had. The second thing that I'm really excited about is actually category expansion, which is a couple of years ago, last bull, we were very hot on gaming, and we actually also set up a team. But during the bear, gaming as a market was also pretty soft, and it makes sense. Gaming developers and creators needed time to figure out build the actual game. Mm-hmm. But this cycle with AVAX, ATG, Dookie Dash, Faraway, And a bunch of gaming partners we already had relationships with back before, like Azure Games raising a new round. You can see the sparks like again, right? And while I think like the very crypto native collectibles like PFPs, meme-like things will always have its space, and it's a nice category to be in for like vibrant communities. I think there are new categories with utility that is still worth keeping a really high eye on. And we're excited to see some of those things, and I'm excited that we're in a position to support given our multi-chain strategy as well.
Well, have you had a play around with ApeChain yet?
I have not, man. Why'd you put me on the spot like that? But I know you have. What do you think?
I think it's fun.
It's fast.
It's fast. It's fun.
Fast.
I was pleasantly surprised actually because it was kind of funny like how quickly you launched that thing and then immediate degen community just rallied around it, and then it really felt like okay. Granted, a lot of the early NFT collections it was just a bunch of like derivs, which is actually kind of ironic. Because previously with NFTs, it would be like, I can't believe people are launching derivatives, but now it's like, it seems totally acceptable. But people were just having fun with it. And I'm actually kind of low-key pretty bullish. I'm obviously a Bitcoin guy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, that's my kind of take on what I find interesting.
It's actually hilarious. Dude, I was having this late night call with Joshin the other day. And Joshua was like, you know what, Jack? I think I'm becoming a Bitcoin maximalist. I was like, holy fuck, you're like 10 years too late. And you went full circle, like ETH, Sol,
I actually blame Nick on our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Niall know me, for those that know him on Twitter. That guy just, I spend too much time with him. That's the problem.
Hard not to get excited when you hang out with Nick.
No, man, sometimes I just like, I go on Magic Eden, go on the Bitcoin page, and I look at all the pending little icons. I just get so fired up because I'm like, man, if there's an on-chain economy on Bitcoin, that thing's going to be massive. But no, we're excited about that. I think Rune's obviously had a really big run, which in the last 3 weeks, which is pretty insane.
Meme coins on Bitcoin.
Dude, meme coins on Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin memes. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. There's like this. I think there's a chart here that has been going around Twitter, which I think is pretty good. But it's like, man, 0.05% of the market cap of Bitcoin. That's so
This is a good point to talk about making crypto easier, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the things we're doing to like unlock that?
Like
that's just, to me, it's like that fucking equation is easy, right? This is like early days ETH. People were talking about DEXs. Man, DEXs kind of suck.
Man, people forget actually what those DEXs were.
Kyber, Bancor.
Man, like Ether Delta, Radar Relay. Those were really hard to use. No, it's like no, judgment on those teams because they were good builders, but it's just hard to build that kind of stuff back then.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Alan from Radar Relay is now at Eigenlayer, so good to see. Good builders are good builders, right? But very hard stuff to use, and I think Bitcoin is even earlier than that in that sense because we just put in order books for runes. like two-sided order books just came out like 2 months ago, right? And then now we can build this like simple swap infrastructure that's going to go on mobile. So one-click buy, swap experience. Only now can that get built, right?
Let's go.
And that takes time. Runes came in like March, April.
Yeah.
It's like 7-8 months to kind of do this stuff, which relatively I think that's quite quick, but it just goes to show it takes kind of a lot of hard work and grinding. That is coming. What else is coming? I think we're doing a bunch of things on mempool protection.
Yep.
So it's kind of like Bitcoin is almost like a very extreme version of, in like the heyday of Ether1, like people were outbidding each other with gas, right? That is just, there's a more extreme version of that in Bitcoin because the block sizes are so big and the confirmation times are so long. So I think mempool protection is something we're working on that's going to just step change how trading is going to feel in a really good way. Pumped.
It's the Bitcoin thing is like my thought to myself is you just got to be on the right side of history. It's like once technology is available, it's the Pandora's box, man. Like all the shit that we're seeing on Bitcoin, it's the very early examples of what could be. Just like what PFPs for NFTs was the early examples of what could be, right? And once this technology is out there and you see these like very ardent, very enthusiastic communities forming already, just imagine what it could be if it's like 10x better, 5x better. And because it's early, it's actually easier to get those 10x's. It's harder if you're like 5 years down the line to get a 10x. But man, when I don't know, the protocol for runes is only a few months old, it's easy to find a 10x improvement, right?
Yeah.
So it's just being on the right side of history.
For sure. Okay, maybe I want to talk about one more thing. We're working really hard on mobile trading. It's a big thing we're working on. Maybe not a lot of people might know about that, but it's actually like a huge thing that a lot of people in the company are actually working on right now, and it's coming in the next few weeks ish, month, right? Yeah, what can you share about that? I think we can share something as well on the screen. On the Sol side, what are we working on in terms of trading? But it's gonna look really nice, I think.
Yeah, I think I think this will be a really smooth, basically token discovery trading experience on mobile, and it will have I think the core is actually making that trading experience really, really good, and that's clearly so important, especially on the Sol side, given the main use case right now is meme coins. So doing something really fast and crisp makes a lot of sense. So we're hard grinding on that. It's something that we would love to show off. Also, like post token claim experience, because we have a bunch more like iterations that we're going to do on top of this. And I think like this is basically in service of this like all chains, all assets kind of vision, right? Why do we want to do this on mobile first? Is, well, it's like, the world is already on mobile. Actually, kind of mobile is not even the present. In some ways, it's the past, right? But Web3 and on-chain dApps, we're only finding the first like emerging steps into mobile. And I think primarily before that was because of things like wallet experiences. That was things because of like gas sponsorship, and the lack of like really reliable fiat on-ramps. But after the last bear cycle and coming to this cycle, all of those technologies are actually available, right? There's amazing like embedded wallet technology. So it makes, using a mobile app, downloading something really easy, really amazing fiat on-ramps. And now, of course, we have like really fast underlying chains where Sol has, really taken off that can show off like really crisp consumer experiences. So all of those things we're really excited, and that's why we're betting really deep on mobile, and very excited to show that like Sol token trading experience off pretty soon.
Yeah, fiat on-ramp directly into whatever token you want.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. And lots of discovery too. So whether your jam is a cat coin or a dog coin or something else, we're going to have all the discovery layers for you.
Yeah. All animals in the world.
All zoo animals, if you want that.
All chains, all assets, all animals.
Yeah. All AI agents as well. Yeah. Anything else you want to cover, like ecosystem-wise?
Okay, we have a lot. I think you said it best, which is we're at Magic Eden. We're kind of in some of a unique vantage point because we play in so many different ecosystems, and we see like different metas and different trends, and there is interesting things that we want to also facilitate or support to make it easier and exposed to a bigger audience. There's a bunch of really interesting things on Sol. There's a bunch of really interesting things on EVM as we expand to these new ecosystems. Maybe we don't rabbit hole here, but save the alpha for next time. So we have more content, and but one of the things I've always been thinking about is Magic Eden. Like in crypto, the meta changes so fast that it kind of like pulls your nose. You kind of want to chase this like shiny toy. But what we really want to do at Magic Eden through this like all chains, all assets strategy is actually to say, hey, how do we build a better net? How do we build something that regardless of whatever meta or whatever chain is popping off, we will always be able to support and bring that to our users. And I think it's playing out because there's interesting things that are happening on BTC, there's interesting things that are happening on Sol, and we're able to support that. And there's a bunch of very interesting things like EVM, maybe which we will talk about next time. So hopefully what we want to do is to say, hey, Magic Eden, we become almost like an index for Web3. And then if our community of ME holders, they will also have the benefit of like an exposure to a strategy like that as well. So so maybe we'll save the alpha on some of these specific ecosystems for next time.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so
Oh, good segue.
Should we get into?
Unintended.
Yeah, I don't know if that
Unintended.
was planned, but I think we should talk about. I mean, we have like 15 minutes or so.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds
Why don't we
good.
talk about ME?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, so TestME. We shared basically the milestones coming up towards ME. The next big one is TestME, and we're happy to share that TestME is coming on 29th,
On the 29th,
10/29.
October 29th.
10/29.
It's in a few days.
Yeah, it's very soon actually. What is that, Tuesday? Is that right?
Fuck,
29th is
I've lost my...
It would be bad if I actually got that wrong.
Hey, it's Tuesday. Yeah, actually
Tuesday.
we do
Okay,
take a lot
Tuesday.
just on Tuesdays.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Why are we doing TestME? Maybe I'll share a couple of words, and then I think we actually wanted to do a live walkthrough with you guys around what the experience looks like. But let me share a couple of things first. So one, the reason we're doing this is because, as you all know, the ME claim is going to be in our mobile app, and because that is such a high pressure, huge moment, we obviously want that to go well and for the product to work and that to be seamless. So we want to test the pipes. All of this is to test the mobile claim experience, make sure it works, make sure it's very, very nice and slick for everyone in readiness for the big day, right, afterwards. In terms of eligibility, basically anyone who has traded on chain is going to be eligible for TestME. So it's wide, and I think one thing I'll call out is that TestME eligibility does not equal ME eligibility. Just so that's very, very clear. But obviously, we would love for as many people to participate and help us test these pipes as much as possible, because I think, yeah, we're excited. Hopefully, you guys are excited. We've built a really nice experience around it, and I think it's quite unique. I think it's very unique. Some caveats, not for US and UK. We're working through a bunch of things on the UK App Store side, so more to come, but we are working on it, so we hear you, everyone out there that's in the UK. Yeah, what else? Anything you want to add before we get into the...
No, excited to show everyone what it looks like. I think +1 to all of the caveats. So eligibility for TestME is not the same as eligibility for ME. They're actually completely two separate things. And the reason for that, just in the spirit of transparency, is that ME eligibility still has to go through some more hoops of analysis. There's analysis around like suspicious activity, right? Inorganic activity. Those kind of analysis needs to be done, on an ongoing basis. So we want to reserve some flexibility to look into that, and that, of course, is actually better for the community, because the whole community wants the true organic users of Magic Eden's protocols to be rewarded. So that's why we want to make TestME's eligibility different to ME's eligibility. I want to be like really clear about that. And then on the UK side, I know I receive a lot of messages from the UK community, and I definitely hear everyone's like, anticipation and somewhat frustration. We want to get our app into the UK App Store. There's just a bunch more like regulatory hoops to jump through, but we're very confident that we're going to get there. But we want that to be done for the real like formal token claim experience, but we just haven't been able to get it in time for TestME. So, but at the same time, we just didn't want to like push this out or delay this any longer, given that the rest of the community's anticipation. So just had to make a little bit of a hard call there. I hope you can understand.
All right,
Cool.
should we fire up the
Let's do
demo?
it.
All right.
All right, let's go.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, cool. So the experience is this. So first of all, like you're gonna get this QR code to download the Magic Eden mobile app, right? And all of the TestME claim will actually be in the mobile app itself. Okay, video is actually going a bit fast, but basically, one of the key things that we built is I think this is like a first time in the industry, is that users will be able to link multiple wallets across multiple different chains in order to check your eligibility, And that was part of the actual, like some of the technical challenges that we had to go through to make this experience super, super reliable, handle all of the edge cases around different types of wallet connects, and ultimately make that binding really, really reliable and really secure. So that's the kind of the experience. And once you bind all of your wallets to then check all of your eligibilities in one go, then there is a screen which will then basically, in the mobile app, which will then say, oh, now you're actually eligible, claim the TestME token. The last thing I actually wanted to say is also, everyone's allocation for TestME is exactly the same. This thing has no utility, no value.
Pure
We
test.
actively discourage trading of it, and that's why everyone's allocation is the same. But you can see some of these really nice screens inside the mobile app where the actual claim is going to be able to happen. Cheers.
Yeah, nice. We'll publish that as well so everyone can see it, and there'll be lots of information about it. There will be some folks in the community who have helped us beta test this in advance before the 29th. So don't be surprised if you see a couple of folks sharing screens. That's purely for us. Yeah, we've let a few community members just help us beta test it as part of the internal process. But excited, man. Connect all your wallets, check eligibility across Bitcoin, EVM, Sol, and then claims going to happen in the mobile app. Yeah, it's pretty dope. We should even let, like, after we're done with all of this, we should let other people use this tech.
Yeah. It's it was a bit of a fucking grind. I'm not gonna lie. Like all this stuff, even like Ledger connects, we had to solve a bunch of edge cases with like people importing. For example, like people would import like a seed phrase from wallet A into wallet B, and then sometimes wallet B might transform like some parts of that seed phrase, and then the connection, like kind of fucks with the connection. So we had to like iron out all those edge cases. So actually, huge respect for wallet builders, man. It's like a very complicated space, and as we got into the wallet game, we unearthed a bunch of these pleasant surprises, if you will. Yeah.
All right, 1029. Keep a lookout. We're excited and glad to be able to share that today. So I think maybe we'll wrap with let's talk a little bit about ME, because that's obviously natural extension of TestME is then ME.
Yep.
So why are we adopting ME?
Yeah.
We feel internally it's a very big moment for us.
Yeah.
And we're excited about it, and we feel like there's a lot that is going to help to supercharge a lot of the things that we are doing.
Yep.
But can you share more about the ethos, what's behind it, why we're excited about it?
Yeah. Look, there's a couple of really key reasons, right? I think number one is, Magic Eden, we're going to a new phase, right? We're going from effectively like a single use case company where it's all about NFTs into multi-use case. And our vision is actually much grander now, become decentralized Binance, decentralized Coinbase. And what we really want is to have an accelerant, right, to take us into this next phase of growth and the next phase of our evolution. And I think this is going to be extremely useful. And at the same time, harkening back to the original genesis for why we're even doing this community initiative, it really is, to build a product like that, it's actually, I think, and to make that vision successful, product is actually just one small part of it. That's a big learning that I had. Building the software and making the UI look nice, that's actually one small part of it. The big part of it is actually the community, right? We actually need this community to galvanize, believe in what we're trying to do, believe in the vision of what we're trying to do, and of course, give us the feedback, but also give us the energy, right, to push us forward. So that's why we also want to take this moment to adopt ME, because one, it's our special way of saying thanks to our community and supporters who have supported us so far, right, and to where we are today. And of course, we are also want to do this to grow our community, to onboard more people into the community and give them like a stake and a way to believe in what we're trying to do. So I would say those are the two reasons, right? And hey, these big, I think, strategic transformations are very rare, right? Like in a company's life, it happens once every few years. And now that we are ready to make this big strategic transformation within Magic Eden, I think we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to the community to then do the most that we can to actually make this come true. Whether it's accelerating the vision, but also building the community, galvanizing the community behind it, right? Which I think is a big part of it.
Nice. Yeah, Foundation's been doing a ton of work in the background as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so excited to see what everyone else is going to do with ME alongside us. Dude, anything else we want to share today?
Yeah, so I've been keeping an eye on the chat, but I haven't seen any questions in the chat. I don't know whether that's a technical issue or not, but I literally see 0 questions in the chat. So I was gonna reserve a couple of minutes to just banter with the community and answer questions, but since I don't see anything, maybe we can wrap, and then we'll get some feedback like from the community after this anyway. So if people like it, we'll do more of these. And if people have feedback, which we're very welcome, we will definitely incorporate this and see how we can make it better.
Yeah, so we'll be sharing probably more information about following up about TestME and all of that, some of the big milestones coming up. And then, I don't know, we're thinking about doing this every couple of weeks or every month or something. Yeah, something like that. But if you guys have some thoughts, let us know. And then
actually, one thing, one idea I think we've been bantering around is actually it would be great to have more community participation. So maybe we can have like a special guest from the community each time, and they can represent some of the things that's happening on the community. And then
we do have questions.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! It was like a technical thing.
All right, give us a minute. We're going to look through some questions.
Okay, actually, let me.
Turns out they've been streaming in, and we just didn't see any.
Oh yeah, actually, my chat software did not.
That's
do
amazing.
This.
All right, anything good? What are you seeing?
Okay, so there is some questions about UK. So I would just say reiterate the UK to the UK users and the UK community. I think UK, unfortunately, we don't have the mobile app in time for TestME, which is on 10/29, but we are absolutely racing to get it by the full like production token claim. So stay tuned. So like definitely understand the anticipation there, and you know it's.
There's a thing about tokenomics.
Full force it. Yeah, the question for tokenomics will be for ME Foundation. They have their own timeline to do that. I think it's like not super far away. Like TestME will go first, and then we're going to see how robust the systems are. There probably might be a little bit of like cooling down period as we refine our systems, make it more reliable, and then the next couple of steps. I think there were some comms that came out already. It was like TestME, tokenomics, and basically that's it, right? So coming soon, but stay tuned for ME Foundation.
Anything else good?
People want to know whether UK US users will be able to claim $ME. I think basically more information to come about that. I think what you can expect the experience in terms of locations will be just very much standard that's within the crypto industry. So if you've done token claims before, you should basically know the experience that you can expect, and that's what we can say for now. Man, there's actually a ton of questions. I actually feel really bad, guys. I apologize that this laptop that I was looking at that was meant to be streaming these questions was showing 0 things. So maybe there was a bit of technical issue, but I think what we might do is take some of these questions, maybe make a FAQ, and then maybe we should make a tweet like addressing some of these questions, and then the next one in Magic Hour we can also address it live. Yep. All right.
We'll fix this for next time.
Okay, cool. Okay. If you have multiple wallets linked, e.g. 10 wallets, and then one of those wallets is shared with different people who also link to their account, does the other person also have access to your token claim? That's an interesting one, Uzi. Let me get back to you on that. So I think basically in the process of wallet linking, there is a verification step. What I imagine would happen is that there is a rule, like a waterfall rule in the background, which is if that wallet has been verified to be, someone has linked it already, that wallet may be taken out of the like eligible circulation pool. But let me don't take my word exactly on that. I think what we should do is let me share that with the team, get the definitive answer, and we should publish some FAQs ahead of time.
Yep.
All right. And there's definitely some frustration from the UK users, which I expected, and I think it's very valid. Look, folks, very, very valid. Very, very valid. Okay, there's another one. Okay, ratio of diamonds to ME. I can talk about this. This has come up in a few times. I've addressed it in spaces already, but happy to just talk again. There's a bunch of legal issues which I can't, basically prevent me from talking more about the ratio of diamonds to ME. But what I would actually say that is, hey, all the information is coming pretty soon as ME Foundation releases tokenomics and so on. The diamonds is one input into ME, and the thing where like a set fixed ratio may not fully apply is because as one of the other core questions from the community is how we are addressing like inorganic suspicious activity. One of the things that we do, I would actually say that ME, like we're actually pretty heavy-handed about addressing inorganic activity. So as long as you're using things naturally, you're organic, there's nothing to be worried about. But what we do is we do zero out some people's diamonds, but we also actually, there's things that we do in the background where we put them effectively in like a monitoring list, and we send warnings to addresses where there's suspicious activity, and then we also may do things in the back end that basically mitigate those kind of addresses and accounts where there is that suspicious activity. So for those things, there is some flexibility in the way that we want to use diamonds, and all of that I think is forming the general context around like why there is no fixed ratio of diamonds to ME and
but real users are the priority.
Yeah, real users will be fine.
Absolutely the priority. Wow, this chat is loaded.
Oh man, this chat is loaded. Okay. All right, guys. Actually, I think maybe we should find a better way to answer these in a structural way. Probably what we should do is get the team to take a bunch of questions. We bucket them up.
We'll publish something.
Yeah, bucket them up, and then we publish
wow,
some
this
FAQs.
is awesome though. Thank you guys for engaging like this. This is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really sick. Okay, we will do that. We will collect this. We'll publish a bunch of answers to the major buckets of questions. There's no way we can get through 1,500 comments right now. But this is awesome. Next time we'll actually do this right so we can see the questions as they're coming in. Apologies, we weren't able to see them today. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll call it a wrap.
Yeah, +1. Maybe if I can share like +1 to Joshin saying a huge thanks. I really mean it.
It's very humbling, guys, to see you all out here listening. So whatever you guys want to hear more about, just let us know. We're actually this is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I was saying in one of my first spaces, and of course people were asking when, and I said, hey, look, we have to do TestME, get confidence on all the reliability stuff, get the app in the UK App Store, then we're like fully confident, release the timeline. But the thing I actually wanted to say was, when people asking when, I feel good about that. I feel grateful about that, because when we were building Magic Eden, one of the things I feel like stressed us the most was we built a bunch of shit and no one even cares. But there is so much anticipation and people really care about what we're trying to do, and all of these questions feels like people cheering us on to get to the finish line. So huge thanks to everyone here for engaging, asking all your questions, and +1 to what Josh said, please keep the feedback coming as well to see how we can improve. So yeah.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, guys. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Cheers. All right, thanks. Stay tuned for more FAQs.